So where are you now? You said you've got 50 properties being managed under the serviced accommodation business. How many of those do you own yourself?
So we do have 3 deals from that as a service accommodations. It's ours, but the rest, everything is sourced and passed to investors, and we just manage for them.
So what made you then think, right, property? I've got no money. I've lost all this money. What I need to do now is build a big property portfolio.
Yes. Yeah, because I wanted to build this property portfolio for a very long time.
You'll find that it's similar stuff. I know this. I know that. I know I need to be doing that, but I'm just not doing it. And it's that accountability. It's having that coach there, that mentor that is, quite frankly, going to kick your ass. Kick your ass and go, well, how many calls have you made this week? How many landlords have you approached? How many property owners have you approached? How many agents have you made offers to? Oh, I haven't done any. Well, that's what you need to be doing. It's that requirement, that understanding that.
But I can maybe change people, but you cannot change Scottish people with their eating habits. You can't.
Today on the Engaging Marketeer, I am speaking to Vincent Hovorka. I met Vincent at a Professional Speakers Association meeting, and he is heavily into property. When I say heavily into property, he doesn't own many properties. In fact, he owns 3, but he manages 50. And those 50 properties actually turned over about 1.2 million in the last 12 months. Imagine owning just 3 properties, yet still turning over 1.2 million from property. You can't do that with buy-to-let, can you? So let's find out how Vincent's done that, what his story is, and how he's been so successful making so much money from property he doesn't even own. So we met at a Professional Speakers Association meeting, didn't we?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
We did, yeah. And what made you want to speak professionally? What makes you want to do that?
Sure. It's a good question. So basically, I'm coaching people in the property mindset and business startup at the moment, and I'm doing it for 2.5 years now. And basically, it's good. I love to do one-to-one, but also the thing is I would like to impact more people at the same time. And it is like, if you have 100 people on the stage and you can tell them what you would say to someone on one-to-one basis, so you save yourself time and also you can impact more people. So that's one of the main reasons I've been there, because I want to learn more how to speak and become a better so I can impact more people.
So you said that was do presentations from the stage?
Yes.
Have you done those yet, or is that something you're building towards?
Yes, I've run this year, I hosted 6 events, and last year also 6 events. So I have some experience with speaking on stage. And just recently, regarding the PSA, I've done my first showcase because I'm very new to this community. And I had pretty good feedback. So, but it's always good to hear another speakers tell you some feedback so you can learn and progress. Yeah.
So for people listening that don't know what the PSA is and don't know what a showcase is, can you explain what that means when you did your first showcase?
Yeah. So basically, the PSA is an organization, as you mentioned at the beginning, like Professional Speaking Association, and it helps people who wants to become speakers. And it could be anything, public speaking, or just even in a company you want to get better because you are, let's say, manager, and you have some people you need to lead. But if you are not good at speaking and presenting yourself, nobody will listen to you. So it means that you are not influential. So nothing's gonna get done. And this community helps you to become a better speaker in whatever you want to do. And one of the things what they do is it's called like a showcase. So as a member, you are allowed to come in any region in the UK and do, in my level, I can do 10 minutes. So 10 minutes showcase, so 10 minutes presentation, which is great because after they will give you a feedback, what they think, what to improve, which is great because where else can you go and get some feedback like that? Because, it's like, I don't know that many speakers until I joined the PSA. So, yeah.
No, that's very true. I mean, if you do a speech like that among family or friends, they're typically going to say, "Oh, that was amazing. You were brilliant. Yeah. Oh, I loved it. Oh, you're so good." But when you're doing it in front of other professional speakers, they're going to give you feedback that is actually going to be useful.
Yeah.
Can you share some of the feedback that you were given, something that maybe was helpful for you?
Yeah. So one of the thing, my speech is with exercise. So I use the music to help to build the different states. And when I was doing the kind of sad state, I was trying to get people in the sad state. Basically, my music was too loud. And because I was trying to speak more quietly, because it was obviously sad, so I didn't want to shout. So, but he said like sometimes it was difficult to understand and hear me because the music was a little bit on the louder side. So, and it's great because you don't realize it, because when you speak, you hear yourself in here, but there is someone in the back of the room, and because of that music, they wouldn't hear you necessarily. When I was doing the another state, it was much better because it was more about energy, and so I was more loud, so that was okay. Another feedback, what I would get, I got some positive feedback, to be honest, that it was very good, and I had a good presentation. And another thing what helped, they said like, also one person said like, I could slow down a little bit with the presentation. I tend to go a little bit faster, but over there, I know I could go slower. But when I was practicing at home and I recorded the video, it was 12 minutes.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do 12 minutes in 10. And actually, when I looked back in the video, I went exactly 10 minutes. If I would go any slower, I wouldn't fit in the 10 minutes. I think they will let me continue, but just because I knew I have 10 minutes, I just wanted to, get it done.
Much in. Yeah, get as much in. So this particular talk then that you were doing, is this something you've already delivered or something you're going to be delivering?
Yeah, so I delivered that on my events because my events, when I was running it, it was like for full day. So this 10 minutes was just really taking, 1 hour session just to kind of squeeze it in 10 minutes very quickly. So I've done it multiple times, yes. And I want to do it even more on stages for people. But I would prefer this at least like 45 minutes or 1 hour. So I have more time to, do all the exercises I wanted. Yeah.
And the feedback then that you got from the Professional Speakers Association, you're going to make changes in the way you've delivered that before to the way you deliver it next time.
Yeah, I definitely take a few things in consideration. Some of the feedback from speakers I got, and I was like, okay, maybe he's having a point, but I don't see the point in where I'm taking it. So I don't take every feedback that it's good for me, because obviously not everybody knows who I'm targeting in. Even if I mention it, maybe some people misunderstood. And but some of the things I'll definitely take in consideration, like the volume of the sound, and just to make sure that everybody can hear me clearly when I speak about those things. Yeah.
Okay. And the events that you run, are these events that you organize yourself?
I'm not running them anymore at the moment. I did run them this year and last year. Last year it was about property because I have a business in property. And this year it was about more like business and helping people to start their own business. But unfortunately, I'm not running them anymore. Not like that I wouldn't want to. I would want to, but it's very difficult to get people in the room, especially when, let's say, I'm nobody. So nobody knows my name, nobody knows me. So it's very difficult to get them in here and excited to come. And it doesn't matter if it's free or paid. It's just, so I was thinking, okay, let's do a different approach. Let's get better in speaking, hang out with speakers, and maybe from there I'm gonna get some opportunity to speak on someone else's stage and who's already built some audience, and I can bring some benefits to that. Yeah.
No, that's a great problem, a common problem. I say it's a great problem, it's an awful problem. It's a common problem, isn't it, that when you're running events, it's getting people in the room and getting them to turn up as well. So what were you doing to fill the room? What sort of size events were they? Where were they based, and how were you promoting them?
Sure. So all of them were in Scotland, as I'm based in here. I did run a few events in Edinburgh, some in Glasgow, and also in different cities in Fife and like Dundee. And what I was doing, just first of all, like organic marketing, just telling everybody about the event, all the social media platforms that I could. Also, I tried to invest in a marketing, like paid advertisement on the Facebook, just to get people to sign up. Even it was for free, they just needed to sign up just for £1. So I know that I have their details, I know they're coming. And after basically they would turn up. But also problem with when something is for free or for £1, people don't take it seriously.
Yeah.
So even I had, for example, the capacity was around 40 people always. And let's say I have 12 signups, but only 2 people came because the other 10 people says like, Saturday, it just was a £1. I don't need to come because they are not invested. They didn't invest any money. So yeah, it's just difficult to find what works the best. Yeah, I didn't figure it out.
Were you offering an incentive for them to come as well?
So I did offer them like what they can learn, some benefits what they can get. Also, that they will get the gift. So when they would come, they would get like a gift bag of things. I still have boxes over here because I ordered a lot. And yes, and yeah, I don't know what else could I do. Yeah.
Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? It's difficult. I know when we run events, even when people are paying. I think the price we typically charge is £97 for a 1-day event. Even then, not everyone turns up.
Yeah.
Which is, I find that incredible that you'd pay £100 for something and not show up or forget about it or not put it in your calendar. And we've had that almost every event we run that's £97. There's at least one person doesn't turn up, which I find shocking. Whereas, with the free events, if you have people who register for them, you're probably going to get 3 or 4 of them out of 10 don't show up. Have you tried any online events as well?
I did. When we were promoting the live event, we were hosting some webinars on a weekly basis. It was like live webinars, so just to get people a little bit like hook, what is going to be the full event about, so they are not coming to a blind. So we've done like a 2 hours webinar with a guy who was running these events. And it was really good. We really liked it. It was interactive and it was live. It was enjoyable. But again, even to get people sign up for the webinar was difficult. Yeah.
Again, I've stopped doing webinars myself. They still work. I just don't like it. I don't like the talking when you haven't got an audience in front of you. You get more energy off an audience in front of you, as we speakers know. You feed off the audience. And when you're just talking into a camera, it's soul destroying, I find. Yeah. But typically the stats with a webinar, we were getting, say 100 people registered, you get about, I think it's about 60 people turn up, about 60% show up rate, which again is a bit demoralizing that so few people do turn up. And you also get a drop-off rate throughout the webinar as well. So hours we were running were 90 minutes. And then obviously there was an offer we were promoting in it, which started about 1 hour 10, 1 hour 12, something like that. And then every time that offer started, you get a big drop-off rate again. So people have got their free information. They've got what they wanted. They're off. So what sort of length were your webinars that you were running?
Sorry, can you repeat?
What sort of length, how long were the webinars you were running?
So I did run a few different ones. So when I was doing property webinars last year, so I was doing them like every week, just people can join. Like I had this like a system so people could come. There was always someone, but there was just like 1 person, 3 people, 5 people, 7. It really depends. It's, I made some business from that, so it's fine. It was fine. And so it was for 1 hour, this webinar. It was always for a certain topic in property. So I would just give them some value so they can learn different strategies, and I would give them, or they would have questions to ask. They are stuck somewhere, so I would help them with that. And do one for the event we ran, it was 2 hours. It's really long, I think. And now, actually, I created the webinar, which is automated. It's just for people with some business tips. And when I was speaking with a guy who's doing all this marketing for me and all these funnels, so he said that, people, they don't stay 1 hour any longer. So he said I should shoot it maximum of 20 minutes. So I did shoot the automated webinar. It's, I think, like 18 minutes, just like value. And after, if you want, you just go and download my free app, which I have newly created. And so we will see how it goes. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've heard that before, that people don't like the long webinars. I mean, as I say, we have had success with a 90-minute webinar. We use a specific structure that we've created, which is part Russell Brunson, who did ClickFunnels, and it's part a couple of other techniques as well, where your sale or your offer starts after about an hour, hour 10, and you give 3 sections of value, 3 sections of 15-minute value. So there's at least 45 minutes worth of pure education within it, and that does work. People do stay for that if they believe it's of value to them, if they believe they're going to get enough out of it. But there is also the school of thought for the short webinar, as you say, that the 20-minute or the 30-minute webinar, that people are going to take more in a bite-sized chunk. But we have found that during COVID, webinars were working really well because people couldn't go to events. But after COVID, the face-to-face events are better for us, certainly. And I imagine they're better for you as well, because you get that interaction, you get that buy-in. But one thing I think is important, as you mentioned, is about the credibility. You say you want to stand on more stages and do more talks and build more credibility because you're not well known. But you are quite successful in property, I think it's fair to say.
Yes.
Yes. So what is your property journey? What have you done? And what is it that you're showing of yourself that people would come along and hear you speak?
So the thing, it started, I wanted to do property for a very long time, since I was like 19. I read the Robert Kiyosaki book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Classic.
But after, I moved to UK. I learned the language first. And I had limiting belief. I thought I need money to start investing in property because property is expensive. You need money. So I didn't start for a very long time. I started doing different business. I had a food truck and cafe, but all this collapsed. And because I didn't know how to run a business, only thing what I know it was how to cook, but I didn't know anything else about business. So I failed and I lost a lot of money, and over 100,000 in the past 12 years.
Wow.
And basically, but I learned from those things. And after one day I said, like, enough is enough. And there was a buyer listening, actually, Tony Robbins on YouTube. And I said, like, I'm starting this property journey in 2020, January. And doesn't matter, I don't have the money, I'll figure it out. And we started with my business partner, and we figured it out. And we raised finance from different people. We've done joint ventures. And I have to say, now we have 2 successful businesses in property. So one is our service accommodation management company, where we manage on other people Airbnbs. We have almost 50 units under management. So it's, really good turnover and cash flow for us. And also we have a property sourcing business. So we help to find those property deals for our investors. So, and this one, it's really good as well. I was just sharing that somewhere. It's just in 2 years, we sold for over £100,000 in fees for us. And for me, it's very good, because the thing is, it's not my main focus, this property sourcing. I just do it on the side, and it can bring really good cash as well, and cash flow to your business. And and I decided to coach people on those strategies so they can learn. And basically, I'm really helping them with their mindset, because it's not about, the money or your time, or there's nothing to do with that. It's about if you really want to do it. So there is always a way. And but people get stuck in their job, and they are afraid to take some step forward because they feel like they'll make a mistake and they'll fail, and what other people think about it, and all those limiting beliefs they have. So I'm helping them to break them, and so they will accomplish whatever they want to accomplish. Yeah.
That's brilliant. So you've got 2 separate property businesses. One is serviced accommodation, managing other people's properties, and one is property sourcing. So you're finding deals for property investors.
Yeah.
Both of those businesses pay you. The property sourcing business is just a part-time venture, which generated 100 grand last year. Is that right?
In the last 2 years. So this year, actually, we already sold almost 20 deals. So this year we are almost 6,000, which is very good. I mean, I don't need to do much about it. Yeah. So it's just me organizing things. And,
it's not a bad part-time business, is it? It's not a bad part-time.
Yes.
And your main focus is the serviced accommodation, where you manage how many properties, do you say? 50 properties of other people. So I think the important thing to get across with those 2 businesses, you're sourcing deals, you're sourcing properties, you're managing 50 units, but you don't own any of them.
No, we do own some, but not many.
So you'll basically have a property business that's paying you money, and you've not necessarily needed to actually raise finance to invest in property because you don't have to.
Yes, exactly. I never needed to use any of my own money when I started because I never had them. I was in debt. So every deal what we've ever done in property, it was either raised finance or with people who have money and they are afraid to do it themselves. So it's like a joint venture. So I have the knowledge, I know how to find those deals, and they have the money, and we put it together and we go 50-50. So it's one either this or the raising finance. So I pay people interest. So you usually give them 10% a year on their money, which is better than in the bank. So they're happy to invest with me. Yeah.
Okay. So let's take a step back, because what you said at the beginning there, I think is worth exploring more and getting across for people to listen to. So when you first started, you knew how to cook, but you didn't know how to run a business, and you said you ended up losing $100,000 in money. What happened? What did you try to do, and what went wrong?
So basically, I didn't know how the business works. I didn't know that I need to kind of market myself, which is a big part actually. I wasn't able to get on with my food truck on festivals where other people could get, because I was really focused on my food. I was cooking food from my country, from Czech Republic, like goulash and schnitzels and all those things, which were really good, and people really liked them when they tried them, but it was very difficult for them to try. And basically, I've seen like people. I spoke with someone and I was like, "How long did you prepare for this 3 days event?" And he said like half a day, and he sold food in 3 days for £2,000. And I prepared for 3 days and I sold for £1,000. I'm like, so something doesn't work, because I was so focused on this quality of the food and of my product. I was cooking it for so long, and I thought like people will buy it, but I didn't know what people want in here, and I thought, I can maybe change people, but you cannot change Scottish people with their eating habits. You can't. Yeah. So I was on the wrong path, but the other people were giving people and making business, and they were giving them what they wanted. And I was giving them what I wanted them to eat. So it was very different. Also, another thing which I've done really wrong, because I used to be a chef in the restaurant for a few years. And so I become very fast. So that's why my prep took 3 days. Because my service was very fast. So I never had the queues. I barely had the queues, because when somebody came, I could take 5 orders at the same time and serve them in 3 minutes, because it was everything very prepped. Because in the kitchen, you need to be 90% of preparation and 10% of service. This is the easy part. But all the other people with the food trucks, most of them, they've never been the chefs or they've never worked in the restaurants. So they didn't have that much prep. And when somebody came, they took one order and they started to cook this order by order, maximum 2 orders, and they had the queues. And when you come to festival, usually people go where the queue is, because it seems like it's better food. So it was another thing. Yeah. So a lot of things like that I didn't know. Yeah.
No, I've never thought of that. Yeah. Because you're so good, you were prepared and so fast, it looked like your food wasn't very good because there were no queues. Yeah. That's exactly. That's just insane. So you're a victim of your own success, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was trying to slow down in times when I found out. I was like, okay, I need to go slower, but I didn't know how, because it was in me like, okay, there is a person, he's waiting, serve it as quickly as you can, because I knew how. And so that was one of my actually disadvantages at the end when I found out. Yeah.
And it's a similar method for running events as well. If you've got events that have loads of people in them, and you've got videos and photographs of loads of people at your events and people being turned away, more people are going to want to come, because it's like, well, why are so many people going to his event? Why are so many people doing this? I've got to be there. It's that good. Whereas if you've got an event where there's no queues, there's nobody there, it's going to be almost impossible to sell more people in, because they think, well, nobody wants to be here.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So what made you decide then that, right, this food truck, it's not happening, I need to go away and do something else, and property was the thing?
So there was a point in 2019 when I was running I didn't run the food truck as much, but I had a unit in Glasgow, which was like, I built a unit, which was street food, and it was doing really well. I had 3 members of staff, they were changing, and it was making me nice, I think £1,000, £1,500 profit for me without me needing to be in there, so, which was very good. After I was also having a unit in Highlands for a season, and it also was going really well. And basically, in somewhere in August or September, my accountant told me that I need to register for VAT because I crossed the threshold of 85,000. I'm like, all right, that's fine. So what do we need to do? So she said, what do we need to do? I'm like, okay, so I wanted to increase my prices in these units of this 20% so I can still keep the income. But the owners of this warehouse told me that I can't because it's going to be too expensive for a street food meal. So people wouldn't buy it as much. So I can do that. And because I couldn't change the prices because of them, I went from £1,500 plus to around 1,000 minus because of the VAT. Because you cannot climb anything on VAT on food because VAT is zero, but you need to charge VAT. So it's really a ridiculous system for people who have a small business. So that's why I see very often, like when you have a lot of cafes, like in the smaller cities, they just take cash because they know they would get to VAT very quickly and they wouldn't make any money. So because of that, in 3 months of being VAT registered, I found out that I need to pay £8,000 on a VAT, but I didn't have those money. So I was like, so it's not going to work with this food business. I wanted to scale it, and I thought I'm in the right path. But now the VAT came, and it destroyed me totally. So I decided to close those units, and I opened a new cafe under a new business. I bought the cafe in Berwick upon Fit. Again, I didn't have any money. I made a deal with the owner that I'll be paying her monthly from the income from the cafe, and she agreed. So no money down buying cafe actually, and but it was 2019 in September, so I was running only for 6 months, and after I was shut down by COVID, and I had to sell the cafe and lost money again. Yeah.
Wow. Do you know that VAT problem is something I see a lot where businesses they teeter on the threshold, and as soon as they go over the threshold, it properly disables them because they obviously have to increase the prices, which means they're going to lose customers, and they're going to end up costing money. So I hear the advice from accountants all the time. When you get towards the VAT threshold, you don't want to just go over it. You need to smash through it. You need to absolutely smash through it or stay under it, as you say, with some restaurants taking cash only and doing it the not authorized way. But obviously you didn't do that, obviously, and nobody listening to this would actually do that. But yeah, that's the way it is. Yeah. So what made you then think, right, property, I've got no money, I've lost all this money, what I need to do now is build a big property portfolio?
Yes. Yeah, because I wanted to build this property portfolio for a very long time, because I read all these books, not only this, but I read all the books from Robert Kiyosaki and from others. And so I had so much knowledge in me already. I'm like, I need to start applying it. But only I had this limiting belief for a very long time that I need money. But after I was like, no, you don't need money. It's just one of the things what Tony Robbins says. It's never lack of resources. It's lack of resourcefulness. I'm like, okay, so I need to become more resourceful. Okay, let's find the money. So we found the first house, which was for 22,000. It was through auction, and it was a ruin. And we won it through the auction. And after we had 28 days to come up with 29,200, and we didn't have this money. So it was the hardest month, or hardest 28 days in my life, pretty much.
Was this in Edinburgh, this house?
No, it's in Darren.
Oh, in Darren, right.
Yeah. You don't buy in Edinburgh that cheap. But
I was going to say, I didn't think you could. No.
Yeah. And we at the end, we came up with this money, and it was, I think the last, we still needed like 15,000. And it was very difficult because I was going for meeting after meeting with friends and friends and friends, because this is where you start when you are raising finance, but I didn't know how to do it. So I made it wrong. I learned it later on how to do it properly, but people reactions, I explained them my idea, what I want to do, and how I will give them the interest, and when they will get the money back. And they were like, haven't you been working in a restaurant just 2 months ago, during the winter? Are you a new waiter or chef or anything like that? I'm like, yes, I was, but I'm changing it now. And they just laughed at me, and they wouldn't lend me money. And but at the end, I found people I thought they don't have money, so they had money. People I thought they have money, they didn't have money. so the other way around. And we bought this first house. And after, we needed another money for refurbishment, which was in total, actually, at the end, 43,000. But we had time for that because the builders were doing the work. So we can every week raise a few £1,000s. So it wasn't like rush right away when you need the money to buy the property, because otherwise you would lose it through auction. And like that, we finished the first house in September 2020, and also a couple more houses in that year, which was like lease option agreements. It's a different strategy, but so that's how we started, yeah, with raising finance from other people, yeah, yeah.
So this first house that you bought, then you bought it for 29, did you say?
So yeah, altogether the investment was 74.
That's a lot of refurbishment.
It was a lot of refurbishment, yes. It was
So
like everything.
did you refinance and keep it, or did you sell it?
Yeah, so that was another funny story. We wanted to refinance and keep it because we wanted to build a portfolio, and we used 3 different brokers, and we've not been able to get the finance for that. And there was a lot of different issues: first-time landlords, not experienced landlords, a lot of those things. Also, because we are foreigners, it's also less lenders for us if you are a foreigner. Another thing was we've been employed by the same company and not really paying ourselves any salaries, or a very minimum on the paper, and they didn't like it. So there was a lot of issues, and we were trying to get the finance for a year and a half, and we didn't get it. We were trying broker after broker, we paid multiple valuations, and we didn't get it. So after, we were like, okay, probably this house is not meant to be for us. So we sold it for 104,000. So we sold it with profit. But on the other hand, because it was taking longer than expected, we had to pay our investors more money back, because obviously we were keeping their money for longer. So the profit wasn't that huge, but the thing is, it was great experience. We learned so much. I know how to, not that I know how to do it, but I've seen how to refurbish house from literally like everything, like from damp proofing, walls, rendering, like everything I've seen on that house, which was really good first time experience. Yeah.
Okay. So you made a small profit from it then, and I take it you immediately went in and did another one.
Yeah. We went right away to find 2 other houses, which were like a house which you can buy a house for £1. It's like lease option agreement, and they both needed around £5,000-6,000 to refurbish them. So we found actually one house, the joint venture partner for that, and the other house we raised the finance from someone. So we've done those ones and just rented them out, and we had those 3 houses at this stage. Yeah, in the first year we managed to get to £1,000 cash flow, which was good, but it was kind of slow, yeah.
So what was the stage then that you managed to ramp it up? What was the catalyst that caused that?
When we've been able to get the other houses?
Yeah, when your business went from £1,000 a month cash flow to actually exploding, what was it that made that change for you?
Actually, I have to say a big thank you to my coach. I have hired a coach for myself, and I was basically applying things more and more, and I was working on myself more than just on learning about property business. It wasn't a property coach, it was like a coach from Tony Robbins' team, and they helped me to understand things that I need to work on myself, and also different things like self-development. So in that year I hired her in February 2021. I worked with her for a year, and in that year we accomplished to get from £1,000 a month to £4,000 a month in the next year. So it really helped us to, we were taking a different approach, different actions, and it really helped us to move to the next level in the next year. Yeah.
And obviously investing in coaches is a big step. Not everybody's willing to make that step, because most people in business think they know it all anyway.
Yes.
So what made you invest in that coach? What made you believe that she was the person that could help? And can I ask as well what the fee was?
Sure. So the thing is, as I said, I was doing the property business for 1 year with my business partner, a year and 2 months without any help. I've done only one training for £1,000, and it wasn't very good. And it was really basics, which everything I read in the book, so it was not very, very good. And after, because I'm a big fan of Tony Robbins, I've done some course with them, one course, online course. So I was like, okay, so what could help me to scale the business? Because I don't feel like I need more property knowledge. I need more like to be working on myself with certain times of like taking action, being, more prepared for different things, learning communicating skills and all those things. So I've hired her, and I didn't have the money as well. I had to pay it in 3 or 4 installments. It was $5,000 for 1 year coaching with them. They have like half an hour sessions. but they, really helped me to understand how to work on myself, and really a lot of different tools, which some of the tools I'm using even with my clients because they are so good. And it really helped me to get to the next level with my business partner. And we realized every time we invested money into some education, so we went to the next level. So we already invested in the past 4 years over £50,000 into ourselves, with terms of education, coaches, trainings. And every time we go, we learn something, we apply, and we make more money, more business.
That's the key, isn't it? The more you invest in yourself, the better you become.
Yeah.
So what coaches are you investing in now? Who are you using, or who have you used other than Tony Robbins and his team?
So recently, a few months ago, I have joined a new coach, and it was from Brendon Burchard. So Brendon Burchard has his own coaches, and he's based in the USA. And basically, it's called High Performance Coaching. They have also a book about it, and we are going through different things from that, how to be in a high performance person, basically. So it's kind of challenging, to be honest. I didn't expect it's going to be that hard because every session, we have a session every week, which is for 1 hour, and after we have a homework which you need to do, and you need to listen to another audios, another homeworks to fill up. So, and I have a lot of new things on the walls and everywhere, things which holds me to be accountable and working on myself. And I have to say, we are growing quite a lot recently, and we are creating a very good business. Just this week we are adding 2 new properties under management, and I don't need to be any of those. It's just all systemized.
And that's the key. Systemization is the key.
Yeah.
Because if you're doing it all yourself, you've just got yourself a very stressful job.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So the coaches you've mentioned there, then, they obviously, Tony Robbins is American, and Brendon Burchard is American.
Yes.
So obviously they're not teaching you property, because
No.
the property rules in America are very, very different. They're teaching you business. Have you done any property coaching as well, or is that something you're learning yourself?
I've just done one training, which was with Samuel Leeds in London for 4 days. It was never use your own money again. So it was about, those more like these strategies which you need to more think about, and you need to raise the finance and do those deals, like rent-to-rent deals. So I've been on that training. It was very good. It was good in the point that I realized, because at that point I had only won this deal, rent-to-rent, and I realized, why don't I have more? And it really helped me to get 4 more deals in the next 4 months. And from there, we grew a lot. So it was like, for me, a realization point, and also seeing like 120 other people which they want to accomplish the similar things, and made a lot of different connections. So really good for networking, any those events. So that was only training in property I've done, actually, because the thing is, the property knowledge, the property world, it's not difficult. I'm saying it to everybody who's signing up with my coaching. I'm telling them that we're not going to be talking that much about property, because I believe what, again, Tony Robbins says, that 80% of success is in your head and 20% is the skills. And I've seen a lot of people, they've done the trainings, they have the skills, they have the knowledge, but they are not applying it. So the problem is not with the skill, with the knowledge. The problem is with their head, with their mindset. And pretty much all the information, what people sell on the trainings, very often it's online. You can Google it, everything. It's going to take you some time because it's not condensed like in a training. But the thing is, it's not the knowledge what stops the people. It's taking the action and doing actually things. And I wrote a book which is like From Failure To, and there is like 8 steps about this rent-to-rent service accommodation strategy. There's everything written about the strategy, how I do it and how we get the deals. And after somebody signed up for my coaching anyway, because the thing is, they have the knowledge in the book, but they are not doing anything about that. So they need help, they need accountability, they need those weekly calls to tell them what exactly they need to do, like step by step, because on their own it's sometimes difficult. Yeah.
And that is the key word you used there, I think, accountability.
Yeah.
You need the accountability, because if you go to a lot of trainings, you read a lot of books, you watch a lot of videos on how to do anything really, you'll find that it's similar stuff. I know this, I know that, I know I need to be doing that, but I'm just not doing it.
Yeah.
And it's that accountability. It's having that coach there, that mentor that is, quite frankly, going to kick your ass.
Yeah.
Kick your ass and go, "What? How many calls have you made this week? How many landlords have you approached? How many property owners have you approached? How many agents have you made offers to?" "Oh, I haven't done any." Well, that's what you need to be doing. It's that requirement, that understanding that you can't turn up for a call 6 days or 7 days from now and not having done anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. So let's talk the exciting bit then. So you've wasted 100 grand on a business that didn't work. You bought a property that ended up costing you 70 odd grand, but you made a few £1,000s in profit from it. You then bought a few more. You went to Samuel Leeds' training where the concept of rent to rent, I think it was the first time that you heard that concept.
I heard it online from him, and we've been able to secure one deal like that. We had one deal for 4 months, and after I went to his training, and and on the training I just discovered, why don't I have more deals like that? Because there was a guy and he stood up and he was like, "I have 10 rent-to-rent deals and it's bringing me that much," and I had one. And the only thing why I had only one is because I wanted to see if it works and if it's making money. And after we checked, I was like, yeah, it's clearly making money, like £500 a month. So why do we not have more? Because we need bigger cash flow. So there was this realization, and we started to get more of those deals. Yeah.
That's what it's about, isn't it? You'd already done it. You knew it worked, and it's like, why haven't I done more of it?
Yeah.
That guy's done 10. What? Why haven't I done it? I know how to do it. Wow. Yeah. So where are you now? You said you've got 50 properties being managed under the service accommodation business. How many of those do you own yourself?
So we do have 3 deals from that as a service accommodations. It's ours, but the rest, everything is sourced and passed to investors, and we just manage for them. Yeah, I have a lot of investors from my own country, from Czech Republic. So I have actually a waiting list of people. I always take them on a bespoke. They pay me up front, and after, once we have a deal, we just sell it to them, and we manage it for them. Yeah.
You have a waiting list of investors?
Yes.
That's a lovely position to be in, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Good,
so these properties, let's talk figures for these. How much are these properties generating in terms of revenue on a monthly basis?
For us, you mean? Or for investor?
Well, for you, in terms of people coming in and using the serviced accommodation, the Airbnbs, the Booking.coms, however they're being run, how much is that generating as a business on a monthly basis?
So around 20,000, it's a pound a month. It's a turnover. Yeah, we do for our business. We take in those 50 apartments, we take over $1 million a year to our account. And this year we crossed, I think, 3 million, which came on our account. But after from that, we pay the money to our investors. We just keep the management fee, which is 18% plus VAT. So we keep from that money 18% plus VAT. This is the turnover for us, which is around £20,000 a month for us. The turnover, obviously, we have staff costs and all. We have people working for us. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. Yeah.
You see, there's going to be people listening to this thinking, hang on, that doesn't make sense, because you own 3 properties in this, and if you owned 3 buy-to-lets, because I've got buy-to-lets, for example, if you own 3 buy-to-lets, you might be making, let's say they're in a good area, maybe you're making £1,000 a month. That's £1,200 a year. That's £3,600. That's not right. That's, hang on, £1,000, £12,000. That's 36 grand a year just in rent on 3 buy-to-lets. That obviously doesn't include your mortgages costs and all the other stuff that you're going to pay out on that.
Yeah.
But you own 3 properties and you've turned over more than 1.2 million.
No, not with those 3 properties. I mean,
that's oh yeah, I know. That's the thing. You only own 3, yet you've turned over 1.2 million. That's what people need to understand. You don't need to invest in a buy-to-let. You don't need to buy a property with a mortgage the conventional way. Save up your to get a 70% mortgage or an 80% mortgage, because it's a slow process.
Yeah.
It's a slow process. If you're getting money through rent and you're saving it up to make a deposit to buy another buy-to-let, you're maybe buying one every 2 years or every 3 years, and it's really, really slow and tiresome to do. You own 3, but you look after 50.
It really depends what people want. So when there is someone, they have their job and they really enjoy what they are doing, and they have a, let's say, high-paying job, and they really enjoy it, and they know they see themselves doing that for a very long time, and they just want to create the pension pot, and they know that the property is a good investment because it grows on value. So for them, it's fine because they buy every 3 years, as you mentioned, and they are okay with that because they know that it's somewhere saved in a property real estate, which is good. But if somebody wants to create a business and wants to grow a little bit faster, so this approach is very slow, as you mentioned, so that not necessarily works. So I see like a lot of people, they are like, yeah, I have a 20 years experience. And I ask like, yeah, how many properties you have? And it's like 5. And how many properties you've seen in 20 years? It's like, I don't know, 10, and I bought 5. I was like, yeah, I've seen 1,000 properties in 4 years because I've been on so many viewings. And sometimes they feel like, if you are older, you have more experience. It has nothing to do with that. No. And so it really depends what you are after. So a lot of my clients, they are after financial freedom. So it's really different for everybody. But let's say between £2,000 to £5,000 a month. And this is what I'm helping them. So our goal in a year time is to help them to get them to this £2,000, £3,000, £4,000 a month in those strategies, because in the normal buy-to-let strategies, it's not possible really, unless you have a big budget and you can buy a lot of properties right away. In that case, they wouldn't need me. But if they don't have much money and they want to start, so I help them there because I help them with the things what I'm doing, raising finance, ventures, and doing these strategies which are more like for cash flow,
You see, that's the big myth in property investing, in the property game. Oh, you have to have money to invest in property. You can't invest in property unless you have money. Well, you can. You don't need money. You've got 47 properties you don't even own, and you're earning and you've generated over £1 million in the last year through the properties.
Yes.
Which is a real eye-opening thing, I think, for people to listen to. Because the conventional way, as I say, of buying and holding and buying again and buying again, it is just really slow and tedious. And of course, with the way you do standard buy-to-let now, any landlords listening to this will know that you used to be able to claim the interest-only mortgage payments against your tax.
Yes.
Now you can't. Now, if you rent a house for £500 a month and your mortgage is £500 a month, you're paying tax on all of it, even though there's no profit whatsoever. So you're down. You're losing money. Whereas if you're doing it your way, that's not a problem.
Yes. Yeah.
There is no issue.
There's no issue, Even when people have a buy-to-let and they buy it through the company, they can claim back the mortgage payment. It's only when they bought it under their name, which a lot of people, they bought in the past because they've been recommended to do that, and they wouldn't see that, why not? But now, transfer it from personal name to limited company, obviously it costs some money,
Yes, it does, And you've got, we've got both. I've got personal properties and we've got stuff through a limited company as well. We haven't transferred any into the limited company because, as you say, there's a big cost with that. The other issue, which many people won't know about if they haven't done it, is if you own property in a limited company, it has to be revalued each year, and you pay tax on the increase in the value of the property, even though you haven't earned that money. It's not money you own, you still have to pay tax on it, which is a ridiculous situation, which is why so many landlords are realising that buy-to-lets financially don't work. Unless they can increase the rents to such a level that it makes it work, and then the tenants don't like the landlords because they think they're money-grabbing bastards that are trying to steal money off them, and it's not their fault. They have to increase the rents. If they can't do that, the only option left to them is either to sell it, which many of them can't do because they don't have the equity in it, or hand it over to somebody like you to run it as a serviced accommodation.
Yes.
Where they can get the rent that they want, not have to deal with the tenant, and the property is looked after to a high standard by someone else, you. And there's no estate agents, there's no tenants, there's no problems. So I presume then this is one of your targets, landlords out there that have just had enough. They've had enough of it, and they want someone to take over the property, look after it for them, give them the rent guaranteed every month, and the property to be looked after. Is that right?
Yes, that's absolutely right. Yeah, there's a lot of benefits for the landlord. Basically, sometimes I don't understand why the landlords don't want to do it because it's really beneficial for them. Like you mentioned, they have no problems with especially tenants because a lot of people had the problems with tenants in the past that you cannot evict them very easily. You can lose money. So with us, we have a different contract. So if we wouldn't pay the rent, they can kick us out right away. We are not bound by any AST contract, so we don't have any protection by government or anything like that. And you said like the properties look after because there is people coming every 3 days, 2 days, 5 days. So there is a cleaners and they will clean it to high standard because it needs to be high standard because it's service accommodation. And if there is any issue, they point out to the issue and we can fix it right away so it doesn't get to the worst issue. Because when I had the house, and actually we still have this house, and the tenant, he's not taking care about the property. He's like really messy, but what shall I tell him? Like clean your mess. And when we've been there for inspection, like the wall is getting really moldy, and he wouldn't tell us for 6 months. And now it's to fix it like that. It's much more costly if I would know after 2 weeks time, right? So it's really beneficial for landlords. Yeah.
What are your plans to grow it? How big can it get?
Very big. Very big.
You look excited when you said that. Very, very big.
Now we have a huge plans. And so I would like to get in the next 12 months to 100 units, so to double it up in the next 12 months. And we are actually working and we are creating our own channel manager. Channel manager is something which links all the properties together in terms of booking. So there is booking from Airbnb, let's say, but also booking from booking.com. And somebody needs to link it so it doesn't get double bookings, basically. And there are third-party channel managers, and we use one of them. But the thing is, there are sometimes issues and things like that. So at the moment, we are building this software, and it's gonna. I want to release it in the next year, actually a year from now, because it takes some time to build it and test it. So that's the next step, because it's also a product which we can offer to people they can use, because we see what are mistakes with the channel managers we are currently using, and so we want to avoid them and make it better. And another thing is, 2 years from now, I would like, with my business partner, that we will become a booking platform. So like Airbnb and booking.com. So we will take it to the next level. So people can upload their properties through us. We are working also on an app development for the phones. And basically, they can use us. And again, there will be benefits for the investors to be with us. We'll give them better rates, and also for people staying with us again. So this is where we want to take this company at the moment. Yeah.
Wow. I've got to be honest, I've spoken to a lot of people in service accommodation. I've never heard anyone say, I'm developing my own channel manager.
Yeah, okay.
Because they are expensive to use, aren't they? They are expensive, and they've got limitations. Each one has its own little foibles. You're developing your own. Is that you, or is your business partner, or do you have software developers?
No, we have someone who is doing that. Yeah, we are not really techie. So we have someone who is doing that for us. Yeah.
Fantastic. And this is an obvious, I'm sure you are. I take it you're going to be going for R&D tax relief on this channel manager when you've developed it.
I'm not actually not sure about that. I didn't check this.
Yeah, well, this is going to be exciting for you then. Any costs implicated with developing this channel manager, so that the money you're paying the developer, the research on different channel managers, you can claim any of that expenses back in R&D tax relief?
Oh, okay. No, I know what you mean. Okay, yeah. Good. Yeah. No, very good. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of people don't do it. A lot of people don't do it because they don't know it's a thing. We've just developed our own CRM, our own client relationship manager, which has cost something like 30 grand. So we've claimed back against R&D tax relief on that, the costs implicated with doing that. The money's there. It's quite a simple process to do. Anyone that's done any sort of research and development within their business is able to make this claim back. You can either speak to your accountant about it if they know. Some accountants don't know about it because they're not expert in it. Or you can use an R&D claims company. There's loads of those about, and they'll manage the claim for you. They'll take a percentage if they do it.
Yeah. Okay.
So if your accountant's good, or you're good with your tax, then you could do it yourself and not pay an R&D claims company. But it is simple. The money's there, and it gets paid straight to you. And you can go back, I think it's 4 years.
Okay. Yeah,
even if your R&D project doesn't work, Even if you develop something and you decide, actually, it's not work, we're not going to use it, we're going to stick with a channel manager, you can still claim back the cost of developing it.
Okay, good. Perfect. Thank you for letting me know. I'll definitely point it out to my accountant, so she's prepared for that when it comes to it. Yeah, I believe she's really good. She just actually sent us the tax, the how much we should pay the corporation tax for the first year of this company, and it was very good. Yeah. She climbed what she could back, so I was very happy. So
you were happy. It's always good when your accountant sends you what you got to pay. Oh, that's good. I wasn't expecting that low. Yeah. You stick the R&D in that, they might end up paying you.
Yes, that's even better. That's what I want. Yeah.
Could happen. Could happen. Fantastic. Right. So you obviously help other people get to where you are now. If somebody wants to get in touch with you about how they can do what you do, or if there is a landlord in the Edinburgh area, I take it predominantly is where you're looking for, Edinburgh and Scotland.
All UK. We have apartments in England as well, everywhere.
Oh, fantastic. In which case, if there is a landlord listening to this thinking, do you know what, my tenants are absolute bastards, I've had enough of this, I can't afford to sell my property, and I don't want to be doing this buy-to-let shit anymore. The idea of what he said is someone else can look after it, it can be decorated to a high standard, clean regularly, no tenants, I get paid, I love it. How can they get in touch with you?
Yeah, so I think the easiest way is to go to my website. I have a website as my name at the moment, so www.vincenthovorka.com. And or also you can find me on any social media platform, and there is a button where they can book a call with me. It's a half an hour call, so we can discuss. And for people who wants to start their own business, they can do the same thing. But if they would like to know me a little bit more, I have a new app developed, and I'm giving there a lot of free things which they can do, like the rent-to-rent service accommodation course, audiobook, and it's called Action Taker. So they can just go on Apple Pay and Play and just check Action Taker. They will see my face there, and they can download. They can start playing with the app and start learning things. And if they would like to know more, so they can again book a call through the app with me.
Fantastic. And I will put those links for the app and for the website, and I'll put in your contact details as well below the podcast, so that'll be in the description of the podcast on Apple, Spotify, various other platforms, as well as below the YouTube video as well. So if anybody wants to get in touch with you, just look down below this podcast, below this video, and you will see all of those links as well. Thank you very much for recording this podcast. I've loved this. I love speaking to people who've made a massive success with property, particularly when they've not even spent their own money doing it. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. So you are an inspiration. Thank you. And hopefully I'll see you at the next Professional Speakers Association meeting, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. We will see each other, yeah?
Yes,
Absolutely.
fantastic. Thank you very much.